Hello, everybody. Welcome to the HooperCast.
Hello. Oh, you weren't talking to me.
I wasn't talking to you, Dustin.
Oh, sorry.
But hello.
Get back to it.
No, it's okay. How are you?
Oh, I
Since you decided to
I feel dejected.
tell me how your day was.
It was good.
That's good. That's good.
It's still good.
That's good. Mine is too. I've got some toast.
It's hardly over yet.
That's
something
true.
terrible could still happen.
Yeah, it's a lot of bad things.
Or something awesome could still happen.
That's true.
That's the thing about days. You never know.
Yeah. That's that is the thing. We've got some stuff to talk about in the HooperCast today. Got a couple of retro reviews, got some film news, and a little handful of movies.
A little grab bag of stuff.
Yeah, a little grab bag.
Grab sack. I mean bag.
No. I don't want to play grab sack again.
Do you remember in Mario Party 2, there's a mini game called Grab Bag?
See, when you said, do you remember, my first impulse was, I do not. No, I do not remember. I do remember grab bag.
Yes.
That was
everybody's carrying a little bag, and you have to go up around behind them and press the A button repeatedly.
Mm-hmm. And take it from them.
Yep. Every now and then you'll get the gold coin.
Yeah.
Or the blue coin, or whatever it is.
I think it was gold. What's a blue coin?
I don't know. Well, there was a separate color to distinguish that you got like 10 coins from that guy. You know what I mean?
Which Mario Party are you referring to?
The second one.
I think it was gold.
Or maybe, I don't remember.
See,
never mind.
I've
derailed
coin,
the conversation.
A blue coin, like a casino chip.
Yeah.
Or something.
I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Well, okay. Well, anyway. I saw a couple of movies. I guess I'll talk about one of them right off the bat here. It's short. I finally finished Lincoln. And it was my third time renting it. And I thought, if I don't finish it this time, I'm just going to quit. Because it's a little slow, and it's very political and procedural, and it's like it's a political procedural film. Basically, there's crime procedural like shows like CSI, and there's legal procedurals like Boston Legal and The Practice, and other stuff, and then there's this, which is like a political procedural. We've talked about before on the podcast, I think. So I'll just say that it was really well acted, and it's a really good piece of filmmaking. It's just a little bit slow. It's a little over my head, in a way. But I still knew pretty much what was going on. I had to kind of do that Wikipedia thing where you look up like what a lame duck is, and just stuff they're talking about, because I'm like, I don't understand, and then you have to read the plot synopsis. So but I don't know what I expected them to do otherwise, like just dumb the film down and have Daniel Day-Lewis look straight at the camera and say, I want to free the slaves, but they won't let me. And me go, okay. And then we keep watching the film. But he was, did he win the Oscar for this? Didn't he just win? Or was he just nominated? I feel like he just won.
He was nominated, but I can't remember.
I know he won in 2007 for There Will Be Blood. And so I remember thinking, like, wow, he just won this thing, like, less than 10 years ago. I'm pretty sure he won for this film. Anyway, he's really good in it.
He did win.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things, like, it's just a good film. He's got a crazy wife and making his life all difficult and stuff, but it's pretty cool. So anyway, that was Lincoln. Did you saw a movie, Dustin?
It's a direct-to-video movie, so I don't know how much it counts. But
that's a good start.
Well, you gotta just get it out there. So basically, it's The Dark Knight Returns, which is a part of the DC animated universe. It was originally released in 2 parts. I bought the deluxe edition, where they put those 2 parts into one movie, so it's like a big thing. And I don't know. I mean, I've never really liked the book. I know every Batman fan ever will tell you it's the best Batman story ever written. But I had a hard time getting through it. I just disagree. I don't think... All right, so from the get-go, Frank Miller, I believe, wrote The Dark Knight Returns first, and then he wrote Batman Year One. Batman Year One is one of my favorite Batman stories ever. But The Dark Knight Returns, it just seems like he doesn't understand Batman at all. So to me, it just seems like he's, I don't know, too pessimistic. I don't know, whatever. But okay, so anyway, the movie itself, I mean, it's enjoyable. It's got some good voice acting, and it's, mature. At least they treat it with some, level of maturity rather than just like, really childish kind of stuff. So, for instance, people bleed, people die. It's mature in that way. But basically, I don't get a lot from this story. It's really kind of like sectioned off in that, okay, now here's the section where he's fighting Two-Face, and now here's the section where he's fighting the mutants, and now here's the section. So it doesn't actually really work as one movie. It works good in like comic book form. It doesn't work as well in a movie. But I don't know. I don't even really know what to say because I'm so biased because I don't like the book and I don't like Frank Miller, that I feel like anything I say is just going to come off as biased. But
you didn't like The Dark Knight Returns, the book?
No, I don't. In fact, I probably hate it.
Really?
Yeah, I find that it's completely not Batman. It has some cool moments, but to me, Frank Miller doesn't understand the essence of Batman. He fundamentally misconstrues everything in Batman's world, so that it is pessimistic, cynical, and completely downplaying the significance of the Batman, not just to Bruce but to Gotham in general. I just can't get behind it, and so likewise, I couldn't really get behind the movie. It's not a terrible thing. I bought it for $5, so I guess I can't really complain too much. But
right.
But the point is, it's not one of the better entries of the DC universe. I think Batman Under the Red Hood is still my favorite Batman DC animated film.
It was very good.
To me, that more closely resembles the version of Batman in my head than anything Frank Miller comes up with. So anyway, I know that goes against the grain. I know as a Batman fan, especially as diehard as I am, you're supposed to like The Dark Knight Returns, but I can't. I just can't do it. And I mean, I will say it has some really cool moments, and like I said, I like the voice acting, but I don't know. I just can't. The story does nothing for me, so it's hard to recommend.
This will be very useful in the future when people are tired of you positively reviewing Batman things. You'll say, wait a second, no, I didn't like The Dark Knight Returns.
Exactly. But see, that's it's very telling to me because I'm one of those Batman fans who I can watch the Adam West show, I can watch Batman and Robin and enjoy myself. I mean, it's a completely different kind of enjoyment, but it's enjoyment. But The Dark Knight Returns, I just can't wrap my head around it. And a lot of it has to do with its depiction of Superman. It's completely out of character, and it's
what happens in that? Because I have not read this story, so I don't even know what happens.
You want me to basically summarize it for you?
Yeah, just essentially give me the Cliff Notes. What happens?
The main arc here is that Bruce Wayne has been retired as Batman, retired from Batman for 10 years. Commissioner Gordon is retiring at the end of the week, and there's a new threat in Gotham City, a gang called the Mutants, and they just kill for fun. It's very mindless violence, and Gordon says he just doesn't understand these criminals. They're not like the criminals in the heyday. And so anyway, Bruce is living with Alfred's still alive. He's super old, but Alfred is still alive, but that's it. He's cut off communication with Dick Grayson and everyone else. and he doesn't talk to the Justice League or anything. Basically, Bruce sort of is called back into being Batman, and to fight the mutants. And then when Batman comes back, it's revealed that over the past 10 years, the Joker has basically become a vegetable. He doesn't move. People have to feed him. People have to, change his diapers, whatever. And then as soon as Batman returns, he wakes up.
Oh.
And starts laughing again. And so some of the stuff like that, like, I kind of like, but so anyway, so the Joker comes back and he's like, okay, I'm going to go on the biggest killing spree I can muster. And so he does, and Batman has to, fight him again. And, so there's that going on, plus the mutants. And then all of that kind of leads up also into the president sees Batman as a vigilante and says to his, chief dude, Superman, and is like, I guess he doesn't have a title. He's just Superman. And he's like, Superman, the problem is we've squashed all the heroes. Diana's living on Themyscira. Hal Jordan lives in space. Everyone's done except for you, and you work for me. So we don't want this loose cannon Batman going around. I need you to take care of it. In other words, I need you to go kill him if he won't stop being Batman. So Clark goes to visit Bruce and is like, look, if you don't quit, and Bruce is like, well, I'm not quitting. And Superman goes, well, I'm going to have to kill you then. And so then there's a big showdown between Superman and Batman. And, but that's it. I mean, I guess there's some, layers to it, some metaphors and whatnot, but that's the story. And the problem is they never bother to explain how Superman got to the point where he was willing to kill Bruce Wayne. Not to mention the fact that they show Oliver Queen, who everyone thinks Superman killed, but really Superman just ripped his arm off so he couldn't shoot arrows anymore.
Jesus Christ.
But how Superman got to that point, I don't know. Like, Superman to me is not just strong physically, but he's, it's like about fortitude. He's strong in character, and he wouldn't just bend to the president's will. That's so against the character that I know that I cannot. It's just like the author being like, I really want them to fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I hate stuff like that. And so, anyway, there's all that, and there's some cool stuff. Like, okay, so Bruce is not Batman, but he keeps kind of having dreams, and Batman's talking to him like, you can't hide me, you can't get rid of me, and that kind of stuff I like. But just the general, like, pessimism about it, and I just can't get a hold of it. See, to me, I mean, I guess maybe I'm just a more optimistic kind of person in general, but to me, Bruce Wayne shouldn't be 75 years old and still having flashes of his parents' death. You know what I mean?
Right.
To me, that's so, like, that actually makes him crazy. That actually makes him a lunatic. To still be that tortured by that one event that happened 70 years ago. And so I just disagree with that. I think that as a character, Batman should have evolved beyond that. In my perfect world, Batman may begin being Batman because he's tortured by that, but he keeps being Batman because it's what's right and it's something he can do, and that makes him more of a hero. And then also Dick and Jason and Tim and the Robins and Batgirl and all of that, Selena Kyle, they all help him to become human again. They make him whole, where the hole that was left by his parents is filled with this family that he creates. And so, to me, I mean, that's a way more sappy, optimistic ending for the Batman, but I like that, I guess. I like that Batman has an arc where he's no longer driven by vengeance or by, torture, but this tortured past. But anyway, I don't know. Whatever. I'm getting too much into it. I didn't plan to talk about it this long, but basically, it's hard for me to recommend The Dark Knight Returns to anybody because it's pessimistic. It just seems it doesn't really offer anything new, and it's very obviously, an author pulling strings to get certain things to happen, and it doesn't flow the way that I feel it should. And the depiction of Superman is out of character, with no inclination as to how he got to that point. It's not like Lois died or cheated on him or whatever it is that drove him crazy.
Right.
There's no indication of any of that.
Cheated on him.
Can't buy it.
If she cheated on Superman, he'd probably just kill himself. Clearly, I'm Superman.
Or he'd just kill her and be like, "You're ridiculous.
Who's gonna believe?
You don't understand."
He does it in front of a bunch of people too. No one's gonna believe you, and he just smashes her with a bus. Just throws a bus at her into her house.
She cheats on him with Jimmy Olsen. He's like, "You gotta be kidding me!
Report this!" And he just lasers her in the face. It doesn't happen, but it's not immediate death either. She suffers.
Yes, she suffers. Yep.
Anyway, well,
so there you go.
Okay.
Anyway, this is going to be our least popular podcast ever because of that opinion. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Sorry,
Frank. If you're listening, Frank, I'm sorry.
Speaking of unpopular things, I saw We're the Millers.
I thought you were going to say, speaking of Frank Miller.
Oh shit! That would have been way better. Oh well. Anyway, I watched We're the Millers, and I did not plan to for a long time.
Yeah.
I thought the trailer looked stupid, and another red flag is that my wife told me it was really funny. I was like, okay, well, it can't be true. And then I got further annoyed because people at work were like, "It's really funny." I was like, "Shut up!" And then it popped onto HBO over the weekend, and I thought, "Let me try it."
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it.
Really?
Yeah, I was expecting it to just be terrible.
I was too.
The plot of this movie, real quick, is Jason Sudeikis is like this, 30-something pot dealer. And he basically has to make a run down to Mexico to retrieve some marijuana and drive it over the border and bring it back into the United States for his, boss or whatever.
Who plays his boss?
Ed Helms.
Ah, okay, I got you.
It's funny, too.
I knew it would be somebody.
Yeah, it's good. And so in order to better accomplish and to provide better cover, he assembles basically these people to pose as his family, so that he won't get, because he just notices that everyone helps out the people with the Winnebago, no one questions them, and he's like this scruffy long-haired loser looking dude, and so he shaves, gets a haircut or whatever, and then he's neighbors with Jennifer Aniston, who's a stripper, and so he offers. Everyone basically needs money. That's why they all agree to it. So she needs, she's been evicted or whatever. So he's like, "I'll give you 10 grand if you come with me and help me with this or whatever." And so she does it, and then they get this. They need 2 kids, and one of them is this kid who lives in the apartment, whose mom presumably abandoned him, but he's this weird optimist, naive kid. He's played by that Matt Damon looking kid, the Eustace from the Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh, for real?
He got really tall and
guy?
got a deeper voice.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So that's him. And he does I'll say this for that kid, I watched and I listened for it. Flawless American accent. He doesn't break it once. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's in it, and so they get him. So he's like, "Okay, well, you're gonna be my son." And then they get Emma Roberts, who's this homeless girl. And so they grab Winnebago and they go down there, and hijinks ensue, and it's really funny, and it's also a good. It also has kind of a little bit of a heart, because but at the same time it's not too sanctimonious. The whole time they sort of realize that they in some way crave they're all benefiting from the family dynamic. From him being responsible for a car full of people, and then the kids having parents who actually, people in their lives who care about them and whatever, but without going like, oh, and at the end they'll be a real family, like it doesn't end like that, but it ends with a similar kind of catharsis, like a similar like that's good kind of a thing. You get a sense that they will remain in each other's lives, maybe loosely to some degree,
sure,
at least a couple of them. So and there's a lot of funny one-liners. Nick Offerman's in it at one point. He plays, kind of like
I love that guy.
a little role. He's so funny. Everything he says is so funny.
I know. I laugh at everything.
Yeah, so he's really enjoyable in this movie. Everyone's funny. Jason Sudeikis is really great.
Is his wife in the movie Megan Mullally?
No, his wife is played by Anna Gasteyer.
Okay.
But yeah, it's funny. I would recommend it because it's worth watching.
Okay, cool.
Again, I thought it was going to be awful, and I was pleasantly surprised. This was a funny movie.
Awesome.
And just a good little, nice little soul to it. Oh, and Dustin, there's a scene in it that was made just for you.
Really?
Jennifer Aniston strips to, and the song she strips to is "Sweet Emotion" by Aerosmith.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, that's We're the Millers.
Okay. I did not expect a positive review on that.
I didn't either. But yeah, definitely positive review.
Cool.
We need to come up with like a rating system.
We do, yeah.
Like, how are we gonna, like, I give it 2 hoops. Or 1, 2 hoops. Or 0 hoops.
2 hoops.
1 hoops. Something. It was good. Anyway. Well, I understand that we have a couple of retro reviews from you, Dustin.
Yeah, and they're pretty quick.
Woo! This and that was lots of fun. This and that was this and that.
How many times have you listened to this song?
Only on the podcast. But see, the thing about her is like, it's like Wait, hold on a second. One of those lyrics was "take off lots of fat." So yeah. Hang on, I want to see where this goes. Let me drag it along to like. This is some cool little
solo.
Yeah, take it away, Johnny. Oh, there's someone on like a fife. I don't know what that is. This is a swinging little tune. All right, sorry.
It is.
Hang on, I'm gonna cut this out, but let me see how it ends because I wonder if that could be like a good outro. I'm sorry. Take off your skin? That's what I heard. Anyway.
Buffalo Bill. What is this song, Hooper? What?
Wash your sins away.
Hooper, that's a song about a murderer.
This song's
I don't think
creepy.
you realize.
Yeah, it's yeah. Anyway,
take off your skin.
Pull your skin off your body. And then look at it. Look in a mirror. At the skin, under the skin. Anyway, so the retro review.
Yes. Okay, so first off is The Rocketeer. Early Joe Johnston movie from what, 90 something, 91, 92, something like that. I don't know. I'm guessing. I got it from Disney Movie Awards. I'm a member of their club or whatever, and I had enough points to get this for free, along with a couple other movies, so I was pretty excited. So yeah, The Rocketeer, it's a good movie. You can see that it was probably a little early for its time. It probably would have benefited from being made probably like in if the movie had come out in like 2000, it probably would have fared better than it did. It just feels like it was a little too early. It was way before the superhero kind of renaissance. So, it was good. Has a young Jennifer Connelly in it, and Timothy Dalton, and Alan Arkin is in it. It's a good movie. It's about a guy who finds a jetpack and inadvertently stops an evil plot to destroy Hollywood, and then thus America. And so anyway, but it's a pretty cool little superhero flick. Like I said, it's before its time, ahead of its time, whatever. It's good. I mean, it doesn't do anything revolutionary, but it's good. And I guess if I was going to give it out of 10 hoops, maybe like 7 hoops.
7 hoops.
6 or 7 hoops. How about 7 hoops? Because it was good. I had a good time with it. And then the second film is way older. It's from 1953. It's called The Robe. According to Netflix, this is the first CinemaScope film, but I'm not 100% sure if that's true. I mean, I guess it is. Netflix says it, so maybe. So this is the story of a Roman soldier who is tasked with the crucifixion of Christ, and as Christ dies on the cross, he is one of the men that gambles for Jesus' clothing. And he ends up with the robe that Jesus wore or was wearing earlier that day, and then after that whole event happens, he is sort of changed and he starts feeling things that he didn't before. And so he assumes that the robe that he touched was bewitched. So he goes to try to find the robe which he had lost, and on the way encounters people who had seen and had been a part of Jesus' life prior to that. A couple of disciples and some people who were healed by him, and so over the course of the movie, he slowly begins to warm up to the early Christian church and protect the early church from the Roman, from the Caesar's regime of let's go kill them all. And so then. He has to sort of defy his own empire and learn what it means to be a Christian, I guess. It's an old movie, so it can be a little slow, but it's a good movie, and it has a nice little story to it. It's not incredibly. I mean, it's a thin story. It's not anything revolutionary. It's a guy does a thing and starts feeling things, and but it's good, and I had a good time with it. I really miss the days when Hollywood used to make movies like this, where this is a big production with huge, enormous sets and huge paintings of Rome, and you know what I mean, because CG wasn't a thing, and so just this huge production, and and then of course obviously it has the biblical story as well, but it's sort of like a biblical story told from a different point of view, which reminds me a little bit of Ben-Hur, which I think Ben-Hur is a better movie, but The Robe's good too, and I just miss the days when Christians had a voice in Hollywood, and that Hollywood wasn't afraid to tell a story with a spiritual meaning. So that sort of crosses all boundaries too, because when's the last time a movie came out from Hollywood that had any spirituality to it, not just Christian, but any? those days are kind of gone, and
it's not too many.
I think, yeah, it's just a handful.
The last one I could think of was probably The Way.
Yeah.
But even then that was independent. That wasn't even a wide release.
Right. Yeah. That was the one with Martin Sheen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, no. So I just kind of miss the days when that was a thing, and I'm fatigued of movies like that now would be pigeonholed into this small budget kind of nobody wants to work on it movie, and so you get small sets and miniatures and goofy looking Party City costumes, and you know what I mean, and I think that's a shame. I'm ready for something big on a grand scale. I thought Noah would be that. It wasn't really. Now I'm hoping that Exodus, which is Ridley Scott's next film, which stars Christian Bale as Moses, I'm hoping that will be sort of a throwback to the days of Hollywood epics. But when you think back, Hollywood went on this string of between Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments and Samson and Delilah and the Robe and all of these biblical movies. I just miss that, and I feel like Hollywood is very watered down into, okay, here's the stories you can tell, and everything is pretty much the same, and the vision behind everything is pretty much the same. And I'm ready for a change where anybody with any background can write a movie, and that movie has the chance of making it big. Because the Christian movies that are being made now are all independent movies that get, a release in the South, and that's about it. And so I'm, just ready for some more of the Robe kind of stuff. And yeah, so there you go. Well, The Passion of the Christ, that's probably the most recent big biblical film.
Yeah.
But before that, I can't even think of another one. But anyway, this is a nice little film, and I think it's nice to have different viewpoints and different religious beliefs represented on film. Because that's what film is. That's what art is. It's a representation of the artist's own spirituality, their own uniqueness, and and that I feel like that's missing from Hollywood these days. So there you go. Good movie. It's on Netflix Instant if you're so inclined. It's like 2 hours.
All right then. Okay, that was retro reviews.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's spend the rest of our time today, I guess, talking about some film news. We got a handful of stories. Well, one of these. Okay. Let's talk about Bryan Cranston.
Okay.
He was doing some interview with somebody recently.
CNN.
It was CNN. Okay. And I believe what he said was never say never to more Breaking Bad.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. I didn't read the article. That was just because you know how I feel about these kind of things. I'm just kind of like, well, until it happens, I don't read too much about it until it happens, right. Because to me it's just, okay, well, like there's nothing to speculate about for me at least, but
sure.
I
saw the interview.
Oh yeah.
I saw the interview on television, and basically the way it comes off is the interviewer, I can't remember her name, but she's a huge fan of Breaking Bad, and so she was kind of geeking out on it a little bit, and said that she was thinking that maybe since we didn't see him close his eyes, that maybe he was still alive and got taken into custody and went to the hospital and got better, and then would go crazy when he was better. And Bryan Cranston said, I don't know, or I think she said, is that possible or something? And he goes, I don't know. You never did see the body bag zip up. And then she said, right, so I'm thinking he's still alive. Are you, or is that it? No more Walter White, no more ever. And he said, never say never. So to me, it came across very much as I'm ribbing you, like I'm poking you because I know you're a fan. Mm-hmm. And then it got picked up by all the news outlets, and they're like, "Oh, more Breaking Bad on the way." And to me, I was like, I think, obviously, to me, it was obvious he was kind of joking, and I've heard him say he will try to return to that world in Better Call Saul. In that he wants to direct some of the show, but I don't know whether we'll see him in front of the camera. But whatever. Anyway, I feel like he was joking. I don't feel like there's going to be more Breaking Bad, and I feel like if there was, it would be a step in the wrong direction. I feel like the show kind of ended, and it ended well. And while part of me would love to see another 6 episodes of Walt being crazy and going to find Jesse and kill him or whatever it is. Part of me would love that just because it's more Breaking Bad, but most of me would hate it because I feel like it's over. Mm-hmm. And they advertise it as it's over, and for it to not be over is sort of janky. So I feel like it's over. I feel like he was joking, It could end up that in 3 months they announce Breaking Bad 2, but I doubt it. But anyway, how would you feel about a sequel show?
I would not like that. I mean, just in principle, I mean, like you said, it's kind of like when for a while they wanted to do a Sopranos movie, and everyone was like, "No, like the show ended. Like it would ruin the existing show." To tack on something, it's just fan service, but it's sort of like this culture we've created where we give everyone exactly what they want. We give them, to a certain degree, like, what was the most recent example? I believe it was, I can't remember if this was a rumor or not, but I thought it was rumored that they changed the bat suit a little bit after there was such negative public reaction to the picture of Ben Affleck in the suit. I read something. I
don't think so because the reaction was generally positive for that.
That's the thing. Like I thought it was mostly positive, or just people like saying, "Okay, well, okay, maybe it wasn't that. What was it? It was some other."
Was it the title?
Okay,
everybody hates the title.
It might be the title, but there was something where like someone. This makes it look like I'm making it up, and I'm not. Something happened recently to where it was either a costume or a title or like a plot. Or basically like a plot element that had like this big negative backlash on the internet, and then someone came out later and said, well, they basically said, oh, well, we're thinking about tweaking some things. Like, I don't like when creators of shows listen to their audience. And that sounds bad, but you have a vision, carry it out.
Right.
Good shows aren't made by polling the crowd. You don't. Yeah. It's not a focus group. Focus groups hardly ever help ask any director what they think of focus groups for their movie. Mostly, it's not helpful. It's just something the studio makes them do because they're worried about mathematically how do we make our money back. But any of the creators and any of the team and the people who have the vision will say, I hate that process. Like it's no guarantee of a positive or of positive feedback or blah blah blah. It's just this bullshit they do to make sure their money's safe. So for people for them to say, oh, Breaking Bad is really popular, people really liked it, that's not the same thing as us saying, I think they're misinterpreting it, or they would be if this were to happen. They would be misinterpreting it for us saying we'd like to see more of it. It's like, no, that's why we have
everyone that I'm talking to is done with it. Yeah. And not in a bad way. They're done with it in that I will continue to rewatch it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because it's complete now. The way that you'd reread a book. I'm going to rewatch Breaking Bad.
Cranston doesn't seem, from what I've heard him in a few interviews, and just, you can, I think most people would agree with this assessment. He's a yes and kind of dude. He's not, I don't see him being like a Robert De Niro in interviews where he kind of talks a little bit, but mostly doesn't want to keep the conversation going. So if some, plucky CNN reporter who's a fan of the show is just like, hey, well, I figured this or this or this, what's he going to say? Like, listen, you dumb bitch, there's not going to be another show. Ask for something else. Like,
no,
he's
not
gonna
say that.
He'll just, he'll engage. He seems like the kind of guy who likes to talk to people and likes to engage in them.
Yep.
Like, and he doesn't,
Right.
and, if I'll interject a little bit of, like, a legal motivation in there, I don't think he wants to be the one who says definitively we're not doing anything else, in case,
Right.
something were to come up that he actually was into that no one thought of before. Like, he doesn't want to be the one giving the definitive answer. So he's just like, yeah, whatever. And then people said, oh my God, Bryan Cranston said there's going to be more Breaking Bad.
Right.
Yeah, not the same thing.
Yeah.
No. I agree. I think people are pulling it way out of context.
But see,
I
but
wouldn't
that
be in favor
speaks
of
so
it.
well to the culture that we've created, where everything is a news story. And it's really starting to aggravate me. I say everything. I mean, I don't really mean like the news. I mean like, if you read like film blogs or like,
God, yeah.
I don't want to name drop, but if you read the big film blogs,
Yeah.
you'll start to see that there are articles about every little thing. Like there were like 4 articles on one website after the little video of J.J. Abrams on the set of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like, why this is awesome. And it's like, I don't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
And then when they announced, a couple of new cast members for Star Wars, they're like, why the racial and ethnic diversity of Star Wars is a good thing.
I told you
stop.
that guy does that. That guy
Yes, I know.
that I talked about
Yeah,
last
that guy.
time on that website. They're all about it, and it's just like, look,
They are.
no offense, but minority casting is not revolutionary, significant, or interesting to me at all.
No. See, it's interesting, but it's not a news story. It's not something that needs its own thing. You're wasting your own time by writing a big story about something. And let me also point this out, that the whole point of your article is to say that that this shouldn't even be a question. And then when you write the article and focus on it, you're negating your own point by making it into an issue when you're saying it shouldn't be an issue. It's ridiculous.
It's masturbatory because they want to say, look what a good person I am, that I'm in favor of minority casting. Like,
right.
I'm such a good person, and look at me being a good person.
That plus they get clicks.
Yeah.
Whoever has the most stories about Star Wars is going to win in clicks. And so that's the thing, and I hate that junk. So, of course, every blog on the planet posts something about Bryan Cranston says there may be more Breaking Bad, because they all want that click for people who are going to just click and say, oh, there's going to be more Breaking Bad? And that's not, they're taking it out of context. And then people just read the headline and then start talking about how there's going to be more Breaking Bad when there isn't. And so that's the culture that we've created of internet. And I remember this was probably like yesterday. Yesterday, I guess. Mark Hamill was saying something about the culture that we've created around Star Wars is bound to disappoint people when they see the film.
Yeah.
He said, if you think about the first film, nobody was expecting anything and everyone liked it. Then there was a lot of expectation for the next 2, but there was no internet to sort of fuel it. It was just, hey, we're excited, but we haven't seen 100 pictures from it, and we haven't seen 18 trailers. It was, you know what I mean? It was smaller. And then now there's so much, and everyone for the next year and a half is going to be talking about nothing but Star Wars.
Yeah.
And by the time it comes out, everyone's going to be sick of hearing about it.
See, yeah, part of it is,
or they're going to have built it up into something it isn't.
It's this big rat race of, like, half the time, well, maybe not, but I would like to think that there's people within those film websites who are probably like, look, this isn't like, at least I would want to at least know that they would privately acknowledge the stupidity of some of these stories, but I would feel like I'd at least feel good about that because then I didn't know, at least, like, hey, like, we both know this is stupid, but it's like a big, like, well, Pajiba's going to post this, so we got to post it too, because if people are going to read it somewhere, and if they're going to read it, we want them to read it on our site, so we'll post it because everyone else is posting it. And that's terrible news reporting. Like, you don't
Yes.
do that. You report news stories that people care about and that are informative, you know, but you don't just post stuff because the competition's going to do the same thing. Like,
Right.
you know, because eventually if you have a standard for the stories you put out, people will tire of the competition because they don't want to read their stories because they're nothing. But they'll want to read yours
Right.
because every single one of them matters and is worth reading. You know,
Right.
the more exclusive, the more, you know, the more enticing it can be. But
Right.
if everyone's going to put out the same story, then, you know, whatever. It's like a big race for clicks. And
Exactly.
with the whole Star Wars thing, like I used to, especially in high school, I was a big like worrywart. Like I still overanalyze lots of things, but I learned at a certain point not really to worry too much about stuff that either was not going to happen for a specific amount of time, such as a movie coming out.
Yeah.
You know, me reading about the Avengers all the time isn't going to make it come out sooner. It's going to come out
Right.
next year, and I can't change it.
Right.
You know, and so for me, it's just like, I'd rather, we did just fine before seeing billions of set photos. Like you said, like, a lot of people didn't know the look of the next Star Wars film, like, you know, the Empire Strikes Back, until, I don't even think did they even have trailers back then?
Yeah, they did.
But it was like, it was in the theater. Like, you didn't see, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously you didn't see them online or anything. Like,
Right, you didn't see them anywhere but the theater.
Yeah, and you saw it the one time, and you could only describe it to other people or talk about it with other people who had seen it, but you can't do a screen grab and say, "What's that thing? Oh, it looks like he's holding his arm there. Does his hand get cut off?" You know, there's no, you can't speculate. And then the next thing you get is the poster of the film while you're in line buying tickets for it.
Yeah.
And so
And that's
everything
it.
is new. And yeah, we're giving people too much. And I know for a while J.J. Abrams was really trying to lock that down and not show people so much. But the only way he was unable to do it unless he just straight up lied to you. Khan's not going to be in the movie. Oh, Khan's in the movie. I didn't know what else to say because I couldn't conceal it. So if J.J. Abrams can't conceal, you know, plot details or photos of what things look like, it is impossible.
Yes.
In a general wide release.
Yeah.
So.
Well, but it's impossible anyway, just because if you're filming on location, I mean, there's gonna be people who are seeing it, and they're either gonna describe it or now, since everyone has a camera in their pocket at all times, they're just gonna take pictures of it and sell them to TMZ and get, you know, $25. And then that way TMZ can get all the clicks they want. And then all the film blogs will link to the post from TMZ. And then, hey, look at this creature. Isn't this a cool creature? I think it's similar to the creature from episode 6. And it's like, shut up.
Yeah, like, I was... And not to disparage, like, I mean, we have friends who post, you know, news and stuff like that. But it's just, I don't click on them because at the end of the day, it ends up being nothing. Except people saying, well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? And that's kind of what we do in a way, but at least, like, for us, I don't think we do it that often, and we don't do it about every single little tidbit, you know?
Right, exactly.
We do it if there's a conversation to be had, not like, what do you think? Like, I don't know, and, you know, pontificate about anything.
No, exactly. And I mean, here's the thing. I learned my lesson, like you said, in high school. In 2006, when Superman Returns was coming out, I was literally like looking up everything I could find to the point where when I saw the movie, there wasn't a lot that was new to me.
Yeah.
There was some, but I knew a lot of the scenes that were going to happen. And so it sucks and to have the movie A, spoiled for you, and B, to be so obsessed by it that, and ultimately it amounts to nothing. You know, it doesn't make the, like you said, it doesn't make the movie come out any faster. It doesn't make you any more excited, really. It just, for like a half second, you feel like, oh, and then you're back to, you know, ground zero. But so I learned in high school to stop caring so much before the movie comes out. So when Man of Steel came out, I made a very conscious effort not to watch too much. And I watched the teaser trailer, and I may have watched another trailer, but then I think they released like another trailer after that, and I didn't watch it because I was like, no, I've seen too much already. But that's all I had seen, so I went into the movie fairly fresh. And I'm now teaching myself to do that. So for Godzilla, I think they released about 3 or 4 trailers for that. I saw 2 of them. For Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I saw the teaser, and I won't see anything else. I will refuse. Because I want to go in fresh, because that's the way it used to be done. That's the way that you can be still surprised by a movie. And I find myself, as someone who studies movies and thinks about them, I find myself sometimes staring at the seams and trying to figure out how they did things and how it was shot and what it was doing. And if I've seen, a behind the scenes clip, or I've seen a trailer, it's gonna take me out of the story. So if I go in fresh and I go in clean, then all of a sudden I'm able to latch on more easily to the story. And so that's why I try to keep clean on stuff like that. But that's why I don't approve of all of this photo, video, behind the scenes, trading of knowledge. It's just, it ruins the whole experience to me. That would be like spending time backstage at like a show, like a theatrical show. It's going to take you out of it a little bit, because you're going to know the people that are playing the roles, and you're going to know their marks before you see, you know what I mean? Because you've seen their rehearsals. And so that's sort of the way that I look at this. And I'm already seeing photos from Batman vs. Superman online. And it's pissing me off, because the movie's so far out, and I'm already having to avoid things. And it aggravates me. Like, oh, look at this picture of Gal Gadot, or whatever her name is. And I'm like, I don't want to. Let me wait. The only thing I do like to see, like, beforehand, is what the people will look like in the film. Yes, like, I agree. If it's like an Iron Man film, I want to see, like, did they do anything to the suit, Yeah. But I don't want to know about plot details. Right. And I don't want to see really anything. I don't even want to see a picture from the set. Like, I don't want to know, No, me neither. I would have preferred to not know that Tony Stark's house gets attacked by, a missile strike in Iron Man 3. But obviously it's in the trailer, and, whatever. But, like, that would have been a nice thing to not just, because then when he comes home and he's talking to Pepper, the whole time you're like, a missile's going to show up. You're anticipating that. You're not focusing on the characters. Right. And that's a good point. Yeah. The anticipation of things you've already seen. Yeah. And, no, I agree with you on that. Because then it sets you up to guess when they happen. Right. And I like to see things that the artists themselves put out. So, that picture of Batman that came out a few weeks ago, that was tweeted by Zack Snyder. Yeah. I knew that was him. You know what I mean? And so he wants me to see this because it tells me something about his vision. And so I approve of stuff like that. But anyway. Yeah. What else you got? Well, I only want to do one more story. Okay. Because off the record, like, the Ant-Man thing will continue to be a thing until they pick somebody, and we can always just do the story then. Yeah, no, true. Again, it's just... well, long story short, people, Edgar Wright's not doing Ant-Man anymore. Him and Marvel had some creative differences, so they reportedly amicably kind of parted ways on that project. So a lot of people are disappointed, but whatever, can't do anything about it. So we'll know more when they actually pick somebody. Right. So to me, it doesn't affect anything, because I hadn't. It's a film in development. So what really is there to say except, a lot of people are really disappointed. I don't really give a shit. So yeah, me neither. Anyway, they still haven't picked anybody, so that's the news on that. Yep. There has been a recent study saying that online streaming of movies and TV shows will kind of eclipse like home media or physical home media revenue by 2016. I think the actual article said 2018.
it's basically just another sign that people prefer streaming their stuff. I mean, and it's just like we're going like in a weird undulation of the amount of things we have. Like in the 50s and like I think it started in the 60s, everything started to get real minimalist and stuff, and just these houses were like straight up, just minimalist, like clear desk space and blah blah blah. And then we started just accumulating stuff, and then like in the 90s and onward, all of our media devices got smaller.
Yep.
And now our phones are getting bigger again. Yeah. But all of our media is getting either compact. It got more and more compact, and it's just straight up digital. Right. And so this is saying that there's going to be more and more of the revenue that people like Netflix and Amazon Prime bring in, and HBO Go and Roku, all that stuff. Like that kind of thing. All the money from there will be way more than stores and studios and whoever are making from people buying like a box set. And see, to me, like the biggest thing that physical media has over streaming is special features.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, that won't cross over into digital until digital goes away until physical goes away completely.
Well, but iTunes already has a thing called like iTunes Plus or something. When you buy a movie on there, you can get special features.
See, if you can get all of them,
yeah, I don't know if it's all of them, but
that's the thing, because I think it'll start like in little pieces. Like you'll get the thing that matters, like that one big featurette that you won't get like, okay, now let's look at the costumes, like that whole section. But if it can have the one, that might be enough for people to start going over to things like iTunes. But I guess it would be impossible for them to get every little thing, because then that's borderline like infringement or whatever. This stuff that only the studio has, that they're not going to air on HBO as the film comes out or whatever. But that stuff they throw into there after the fact. So that won't cross over to digital, I don't think, until it's pretty much established we need to stop making DVDs because no one wants them anymore. But yeah, the question is like, but I wouldn't say most people, but I mean, the majority of people who buy DVDs at home don't watch those. They just want to watch the movie whenever they want. That's why home media exists. It doesn't exist. It's nice for us because we can watch all these little behind the scenes and these, whatevers, but and table reads and whatnot. But most people just want to watch it when they want to watch it. And if that streaming provides that, then hey.
See, here's my problem with it is I'm not ready to get rid of physical for a couple of reasons. One, I like the look of it. I like having my collection on the wall. I have, some nice looking bookcases that I bought. I like having all my DVDs on there and being like, check it out. Look at all these movies that I love. The other thing is really just convenience. It's very convenient to be able to stream a movie that you've purchased. But at the same time, it is also inconvenient if you lose internet service, or you know what I mean, like let's say that they're working on your power lines or something and you lose service. You then can't stream the movie that you own. Does that make sense? In other words, there are too many problems. Like if I spend $20 and I buy Batman vs Superman digital, the question that I have is, are we talking about streaming? Because the article says streaming, which leads me to believe that I have to be connected to the internet in order to watch a thing that I own. And I don't think I should have to do that.
Yeah,
if we're talking about a download, that's a little different. Although I still don't think it's as convenient as people think, because then you're taking up space on some sort of a hard drive. And for as many movies as I own, I'm going to have a huge hard drive. But so streaming to me is a problem because there's too many things that could go wrong and prevent me from enjoying the things that I've already purchased. Download is okay, but there again, you lose special features and you lose the ability to, say, have a physical wall of your movies that I enjoy having. I guess, some people collect coins or little ships and bottles. I don't know. What do people collect, Hooper?
Stamps.
Baseballs signed by people. But I've got a bunch of movies. And so when we start going digital, this collection that I've amassed is going to be worthless, which I know it's going to be worthless anyway at some point. But the point is, it's ridiculous to me that we're trading a physical copy of something for a digital streaming of something, and the streaming isn't as reliable. And you also lose the ability to, as easily, take a movie over to a friend's house and watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I go to my friend's house, I don't have to sign into junk and make sure they have certain junk downloaded so they can stream certain things and make sure they have a Netflix subscription or whatever it is. That's stupid. If I can just take the disc and be like, hey, we're watching Mission Impossible tonight, hooray, and then just put it in. You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. I'm an old man.
I'm torn. I like having my DVDs and stuff too, and my whole thing is just like if there's like a mass blackout. I guess you couldn't watch TV either, but I mean,
if you had a generator, I guess.
Yeah, but like, I just don't like. I don't like the idea that I need internet to watch a movie, and I don't like the notion that like, what if my computer breaks or gets stolen? There's all the movies gone.
Yeah, or what if the site that's streaming these, like Ultraviolet or whatever, what if their servers crash?
Yeah. Then
everything that I've purchased is gone.
Yeah, or they go out of business or something.
Gone until they fix it.
Yeah.
But that's ridiculous. When I've got a shelf over here, and if I'm like, hey, I'd like to watch The Planet of the Apes tonight, boom, done.
It's one of those things where whenever it does happen, like, it won't be that bad for us, but because we'll still have amassed all the ones that matter to us, and hang on to our physical players and TVs that have an HDMI cable in them still, and we'll enjoy those until we die. But there'll be one of those things where if the TV falls over and breaks and it's like the last one in circulation that ever had those capabilities, I'll be super pissed because that will render everything else I own, useless.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a crotchety old man, but I'm not for it.
Yeah, streaming is
just
great.
Too much that can go wrong.
Streaming's just fine with me, but I like options. I think you want to have. I know they want to monopolize the market. They want to get rid of DVDs and they want to get rid of movie theaters because it competes with them. But I think competition's healthy, and their argument would say, well, there's plenty of streaming services will compete with each other. Yeah, but your one form of media isn't that great either. Like you all offer the same thing. Essentially, like I still want a few things remaining in the game.
Right.
And by the way, if we go just streaming, it'll still be easy. It'll be even easier to pirate stuff.
And it'll put a lot of things out of business.
Yeah.
Like movie stops and it's going to take a hit on like Best Buy and even like Walmart. I mean, maybe not Walmart, but you know what I mean. There's a big chunk of Best Buy's profits come from movie sales. It's going to be gone. They're already hurting. But I don't know. It's, to me, the other thing is I'll be watching a movie like I was watching The Robe last night on Netflix. And it's great. It's in high definition. But then sometimes the video quality fluctuates. Mm-hmm. And it may do it once during the entire film, but it's a little frustrating. Whereas if I had that on Blu-ray and put it in, I would have no problems. There would be no lag. There would be no sync issues. There would be nothing. No quality drops or anything. And even if for whatever reason my internet service went out, I'd still be okay. I'd still be watching my movie. So, anyway, whatever.
Well, that's all the time we got for this episode of HooperCast. Stay tuned next time for more stuff and other stuff too.
Yeah.
Woo! All right. Goodbye, Dustin.
Goodbye, Hooper.